Hey you, so on this video, should you stack junk silver or junk silver is garbage? I'm going to be going over just that, just give my thoughts and opinions as to why I think stacking junk silver right now may not be the best choice. Now, before I get into this, I do want to state that I'm not bashing junk silver. You know, as you can see here, as I'm going to be displaying, I do own junk silver. It's just me, you know, doing what I do when I make these kind of videos. You could call it playing devil's advocate or being contrarian. You know, I'm just giving a flip side to the coin, as opposed to what many others may be pushing out there, or just, you know, a different side to what's popular out there currently. I like doing these types of videos, as you know, they're not normally done too well, and you know, I seem to like rocking it a little every now and then. So before I get onto this, I'd love to say, if you like what you hear and you haven't done so already, please do go ahead and subscribe, and also let me know your thoughts and opinions on junk in the background, because I know it's a popular in more countries than others as I pour some of this junk silver out, but it's definitely an option that's out there currently, and that is junk silver, and definitely something we're going to be talking on now. So before I get into this, I'll say, what is junk silver? You know, junk silver, as you can see here, is normally going to be referred to as old money. So old money, from regardless of what country you may be in, it's normally referred to as junk in, you know, countries like America, definitely in UK, Australia, and countries like. But it's normally going to be old money that was once in circulation or used, that contains anywhere from 35 to about 90% silver. So, you know, regardless of what it may be, the size, it's going to contain that much amount of money. Yes, back in the days, we did actually used to have precious metals in our money when it was worth actually something. So you could fall back on the metal content should, you know, the government go kaput, or you'd be in a scenario you are now, you'd have coinage that actually contained physical precious metals, and that was the case. So anywhere from 35% to 90% is usually going to be coming under that junk silver title. So as I get into this, showing off more of these coins, I will start off by saying, look, when we're talking about junk silver, and this is me just giving, you know, the opposite opinion as to why it may not be the best choice right now, I would say junk silver, you know, with silver prices already being so cheap, do you really want to consider junk silver? You know, junk silver, as we know, in America contain anywhere from 90% is the norm, and in the UK you can have coins with 65%, 40, 35%, and the likes of, like some of the coins I'm showing here, and it's all down to date also, so you can have pre-46 and the likes of. But as mentioned, silver is already very cheap. So you have a scenario where you've got silver being so cheap, and I know a lot of times it's the best option for somebody starting off into silver, but I don't think that's necessarily the case, as I'll be going through a couple of points in this video. You know, with silver already being so cheap, should you really be picking up junk silver if you're just starting off? You know, I would say the best option for somebody just starting off getting into silver, if that was the case, would look at generic silver. You know, you have junk, and these are terms that are out there, and then you have generic, which would be something that isn't a name brand, but you're going to find something that's going to be 3 nines, maybe even 4 nines with some silver, but it's just not a name brand. It's not from a name brand. So you're getting pure silver content, not a fraction of it. So you won't be having 90% or 35%. You're just getting something that isn't as known as one of the major mints, or even some of the more famous private mints. Generic. I think something like generic silver would be much better than something like junk silver. Once again, as you can see, I own a lot of junk. So that would be one point that I would put out there. Another point I'd put out there is silver already has a massive journey ahead of it in terms of, you know, coming into its own, as we all know, being heavily suppressed and manipulated as it is at the moment. And so stacking junk silver, why would you make that journey harder for yourself, in that, you know, once silver does come into its own, you now have old coinage that, you know, has to travel twice as far necessarily. Maybe that may be the case. Somebody may look at this coin and see it where it currently is, and then you can put, you know, a generic piece next to it and say, what's easier, what gets across the finishing line first, and what's going to be more recognized first, or what's going to be first choice. You know, so I would say, why put yourself through the stress of owning junk silver when silver's already going through a hard time? And I'll touch more upon that in another point coming up. So, you know, silver really has to come to its own. Why do yourself no justice by stacking it in such fractional cases? You know, it could be a lot worse than better. So another reason I would put out there as to why someone may want to side swerve junk silver is going to be more and more dealers prefer 3 or 4 nines when it comes to junk silver. Now, of course, there's going to be, and from country to country is going to differ. A lot of the dealers that I recommend in Europe, I don't believe sell junk silver, old money. It's just not a popular option. I know it's very popular in the US, so where it's doing fantastic, but more and more dealers moving forward would prefer 3.9s or 4.9s. If you're selling silver or gold, you're going to want to sell in its purest form. You know, it's a starter's metal, not forgetting. You know, and a lot of connoisseurs and pros do stack junk silver also, but it's mainly pushed out for those on a smaller budget, and I could definitely understand that. But as mentioned, you do have fantastic options in generic, so I don't see why somebody would lock in on fractional, i.e. junk, when you can pick up something of a no-name status and get damn near 3.9s. You're getting a much purer content of silver, and also I believe that's best for a lot of dealers. That's going to differ from dealer to dealer, but in the end of the day, if they're selling silver and gold, they may want what's more popular to move on. But, you know, short of a zombie apocalypse, whereas a lot of time people believe in this, and even barter that's been put out there massively, if that ain't going to be coming anytime soon, then what purpose does junk really play? Because if you want the best or more bang for your buck, you're going to want to pick up, you know, anywhere the closest to 4.9s as possible. When you're looking at stuff like this, in terms of, yeah, are you saving on premiums? Putting it up against generic, I've seen generic pieces fare much better against this, and I believe a lot more dealers are seeing that. In UK, very hard to come across dealers selling junk. It's not even referred to, not even on their list. US, I know a lot of coin stores sell it, a lot of the bigger dealers sell it, but please let me know how big junk does do with your local coin store or even online. So that's going to be another one. So the next one I will put out there is also going to be, you know, when you have options out there like the 1 ounce maple, which is 4.9s, the American Silver Eagle and the Britannia, should you really be looking at junk when you have these types of options out there? I mean, the maple on itself is 4.9s, so you're looking at something, you can't get no purer than that. The maple is one of the most recognized and, you know, liquid coins worldwide. And this is the silver silver Canadian maple I'm referring to here. So this is a coin that sells for a relatively low premium and also can be picked up for cheap, but contains 4.9s. You can't get no better than that. When you're looking at something like that, it's not generic, it's not grossly overpriced, it's highly recognizable, and it sells for a fair price. It's a no-brainer really if somebody's starting out and you're on a low budget. If you can pick up, I don't know, normally a lot of the times junk is sold by the weight. So if you could pick up, for instance, anywhere from $20 to $50, that's 10 to 50 pounds worth of silver. Why not go for a silver maple? That way there, you're going to have something not to forget is accepted worldwide. And that's the name of the game. You want the most liquid and the best options. So silver maple is accepted worldwide. I'm referring to the maple here because out of the American Silver Eagle and the British Britannia, I believe those are only 4.9s. I know the gold Britannia's 4.9s, but the silver I'm referring to here are still currently 3.9s. So with a maple, you have much more options, much better selling pool, and it's a much higher content. So that is always an option. So I see the maple as being a lot better off than even any type of generic or even junk, but it definitely puts junk at the very bottom of the deck. And, you know, as we start wrapping this one up, I will say this, and this is no dig here, it's called junk for a reason. You know, when you look at the word junk, what's associated with that? So straight off the bat, you could say junk, and words associated with junk would be useless. So, you know, and the word junk was here way before I get here. Now, you could say junk is just a term, you know, it's normally referring to it having no numismatic value, and it's just no collectability. So it's just being termed off of its metal content, but it's called junk for a reason. You could have called it, you know, non-numismatic silver or something like that. Junk is associated with useless. So, you know, you could be calling it useless silver. Junk is associated with little value. It could be called little value silver. Junk is associated with the title of this video, garbage. So, you know, you could be calling it garbage silver. Junk is associated with waste. It could be called waste silver, and junk is ultimately associated with worthless, which could then fall down to worthless silver. So these are things to take into consideration. Like I said, the term junk was there and labeled way before I got here. And what I normally hear and see is that junk silver is going to be the ultimate for barter, but is that necessarily going to be the case? Ultimately, I'll finish it off like this and saying silver is already so cheap. I see junk silver not playing a role now. If you was to look at, say, for instance, fractional gold coins. A lot of people claim that they can't buy gold because it's so expensive, and so they buy fractional. I think something like junk silver would play a better role once we have this magic boom in silver. Once silver goes through the roof and goes sky high, junk silver would play a fantastic role for those that wasn't around to be picking up purer content silver now, like 3 to 4 nines. And you could say somebody, if an ounce of silver was now $1,000, damn near £800, you could hear somebody saying, well, I'm only able to stack fractional silver, i.e. junk silver, because, you know, I either wasn't switched on in 2019s to 2010s and above, and now my only option is, you know, junk silver because it's all I can afford, or it's going to be the only option then. I feel with silver being so cheap right now, as we all know, and with so many better options that contain more silver, i.e. 3 to 4 nines, I don't think junk silver plays a massive role. I have it, as we can all see. I won't be adding no more to it. This was purchased early once I started picking up coins, and I just went down the eBay route. A lot of these coins, all of them were picked up off eBay dealers, and I got them for better prices. That was even labeled on the bags, but there won't be no more. It's always an option that people need to take into account. You know, bartering, these are massive on the list, and zombie apocalypse, and if you need to buy some toilet roll and some bread, you're going to need to do it with this here. But I believe if you have any type of silver, generic silver, that could also play a massive role. One could say the junk is more recognizable, but how many dealers do you know today, unless it's an old family farmer's market type of situation, that really understand coinage today? You show them a 1 ounce Britannia, a 1 ounce Silver Eagle, or a 1 ounce Silver Maple, and they're going to know what time it is. You show them something from 19, you know, BC, and you may have situations. Not everybody's as glued up as you, so what is going to be the best option? But I'm going to wrap this one up, guys, by wanting to know your thoughts and opinions on junk silver. Let me know if it's along with mine, or definitely let me know the pros and why you stack junk silver. So once again, please do go ahead and subscribe if you haven't done so already. Please do let me know what you think of this video, and I'll catch you guys on the rebound.